Gururadhanadishcha Guru Paramadaivatam Guroh Parataram Nasti Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Aho Bhagiyam Stanakalukutam Jighansayapa Yayadapyasadvi Lebhe gatim dha Triuchitam tatonyam Kamvadayalum Sharanam Brajema Namah Kamalnabhaya Namah Kamalmaline Namah Kamalbandaya Namaste Kamalekshana Yo Brahmanam Vidhati Purvam Yo Vai Vedascha Prahinoti Tasmai Tagvam Ha Devapatma Buddhi Prakasham Mamukshurvai Sharanamaham Prapadye. Spiritually inquisitive, divine souls, let us chant for a few minutes, and thereafter we will begin with this topic. Chalat Sakhi Lat Patat Nandalal. The saint poet Jagat Guru Shri Kripalu Ji Maharaj is describing a pastime of Lord Krishna as a child with Mother Yashoda and the gopis. Chalat Sakhi Lat Patat Nandalal. So Gopi says, oh Sakhi, little Thakurji, little Nandalal is starting to take little steps, staggering steps. He's starting to walk. Hale hale dharani dharat pag bhole se Gopal. Innocent little Gopal takes each step very carefully, very slowly. And as he walks, chalat chalat chuti jaat peet pat hasati sabay brajbal. As he's learning to walk, his pitambar keeps falling off, and all the gopis present start to laugh. Mother Yashoda is beside herself, and she keeps putting the pitambar back on him every time it falls off. Puni puni pahiravati pitambar yashmati hot nihal. Jahan dekhat mati chupke te darat mukh tatkal. And little Thakurji, He's so naughty. And wherever he sees some mud, he quickly puts it in his mouth, stealthily, sneakingly. Tarajani te Kripalu dar pavat mukh mati lakhi gwal. And Shri Kripaluji says, seeing his friends, seeing him put mud in his mouth, the cowherd boys, they threaten him, shaking their forefingers. We'll tell on you. Don't do that. It's a beautiful little pastime of baby Krishna. लट पटात नंदलाल चलत सखी
लट पटात नंदलाल चलत सखी
चलत सखी
चलत सखी
लट पटात नंदलाल 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 चलत सखी
हौले हौले धरनी धरत पग
हौले हौले धरणी धरत पग
हौले हौले धरनी धरत पग
हौले हौले धरणी धरत पग
हौले
राधे
हौले धरनी धरत पग
हौले हौले धरणी धरत पग
भोले भोले से गोपाल चलत सखी
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 चलत चलत छुटी जात पीत पट
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 चलत
हसती सवे ब्रजबाल चलत सखी
हंसती सबे ब्रजबाल चलत सखी
हसती सवे ब्रजबाल चलत सखी
चलत सखी
चलत सखी
चलत सखी
चलत सखी
लट पटात नंदलाल 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 चलत सखी
This bhajan that we were singing depicts what is called Vatsalya Ras, loving God in the mode of a parent, as a parent loves a child. As you must know, there are various bhavs, various sentiments through which we can love God, through which we can establish our relationship with Him. Mainly the five. There are five in number, starting with Shantaras, Dasiras, Sakhiras, Vatsalyaras, and Madhuriras. In the Shantaras, the devotee loves God as the subjects love their king. And this bhav advocates a very distant relationship with God. And this is why the Rasic saints ignore the Shantaras and begin with the Dasya bhav. In the Dasya bhav, the devotee loves God as a servant loves a master. Higher and more intimate and more personal relationship is of the Sakhya bhav, loving Him as one loves a friend. And even higher than the Sakhya ras is Vatsalya ras. There's more of an intimate relationship between a mother and a child, loving God as a parent loves a child. And even higher than the Vatsalya ras is the Madhurya ras, in which one loves God as the beloved. And this, of course, establishes the most intimate relationship with God. But today, let us get a taste of Vatsalya ras, Vatsalya bhav. Loving God as a parent loves a child. In this bhav, the devotee thinks of himself as the parent and Lord Krishna as the child. And if you loving leelas, such as one that we were singing, there are many, will illustrate the proximity, the closeness, and the authority which a devotee has over child Krishna, even in the Vatsalya bhav. A saint by the name of Bilva Mangal of Rajasthan describes this beautiful scene in the following verse. Krishna tvam patkim pathami nanure shastram kimu gyayate tattvam kasya vibhoha sakas tribhuvana धीशश्च तेनापि किं ज्ञानं भक्तिरथो विरक्तिरनया किं मुक्तिरेवास्तु ते दध्यादीनि भजामि मातुरुदितं वाक्यं हरेः पातु वः. So this is a conversation that is taking place between little Krishna and his mother, Mother Yashoda. Krishna tvam pat. Mother Yashoda says to child Krishna, "Oh Krishna, you are now 5 years old. You must go to school and study." Kim pathami nanure. What should I study, mother? Shastram, the scriptures. Kim ugyayate. Why should I study them? Tattvam, to gain true knowledge. Kasya, whose knowledge? Little Kanaya asks, whose knowledge? Kasya, vibhoha. O Kanwa, the knowledge of God. Tenapi kim, who is that God? Tribhuvanadhish, he is the Lord of all the 3 universes. Sakaha, who is that God? Tribhuvanadhish, the Lord of the 3 universes. Tenapi kim, why should I know him? Jnanam bhakti ratho virakti. Oh, Krishna, you will attain true knowledge, and from that knowledge you will attain devotion. And from devotion you will attain detachment from the world. Anayakim, then what? Mukti, you will attain liberation. Lord Thakurji says, Dadhya dini bhajami. Oh Maya, I do not want any liberation. You can keep this liberation to yourself. All I want is some milk and curd. Let me depict another scene. Once, Mother Yashoda catches Kanaya with his hands in the butter pot, both his hands in the butter pot, stealing butter. Now what excuse can he give now that he has been caught red-handed? Of course, when someone is caught stealing, he's forced to come up with a quick excuse. And who can come up with a better and a quicker excuse than Lord Krishna? He who tops in stealing and telling lies. He has officially attained the title of Chor Jar Shikhamani, the chief of the thieves, the head of the flirts. So Thakurji comes up with the following excuse. He says, Maya, you know very well that I'm wearing these bracelets made of Padma Ragmani. Padma Ragmani is a very precious stone. It made of precious gems and stones. It's a very special jewel. So when my bracelets became so hot that my wrists could not bear the heat from them, I had no choice but to dip them in the pot of butter. Dip my wrists in the pot of butter in order to cool them. I wasn't stealing, Maya. So today we're taking a look at Vatsalya Ras. So Thakurji, in other words, makes up an elaborate lie because he's afraid of Mother Yashoda's scolding. And one day, Mother Yashoda caught Kanaya distributing butter to the monkeys. And when he saw Maya coming towards him, he first pleaded innocence. No, Maya, I wasn't doing that. You're mistaken. I wasn't giving butter to the monkeys. And when that didn't work, what did he do? He ran away. But Mother Yashoda was quick this time. She ran after him with a stick in hand. And when Thakurji saw the stick, he became so frightened that he started crying bitterly, and which caused the kajal, the collyrium in his eyes, to spread all over his face. And when Maya saw him in this pitiable condition, she naturally felt sorry for him. So she took pity on him. So instead of beating him with the stick, she decided to tie him to the ukal, to the mortar, with some string. Meanwhile, a Paramhans, as you know, is one who's ever absorbed in the bliss of the impersonal Brahm. He was sitting on the bank of the Yamuna river, and with the grace of Lord Krishna, suddenly he was witnessing this scene, this Leela which was taking place. And recognizing Lord Krishna as being the supreme Brahma, he remarked, Yashodaya samakapi devata nasti bhutale ulukhale yaya baddho mukti michhati. He said, there's no one in the universe greater in fortune, greater in virtue and glory than Yashoda. Why? Because bound by whom? Bound by Shri, he who gives liberation to all individual souls is begging for his own liberation. Imagine, it is God, it is Lord Krishna who grants liberation to all the individual souls in all the universes within this creation, releasing them from the bondage, from the clutches of Maya. And here, he is so helpless. He's begging Maya to release him from a few strands of string, from the bondage of a few strands of string. And in the meantime, the great sage Naradji heard about Lord Krishna's descension, his avatar. And so he also decided to come down on earth into the land of Braj. When he arrived at the house of Nanda and Yashoda, he saw something very unique. He saw Lord Krishna stamping his feet on the ground, waiting to be picked up by Mother Yashoda, wanting to come into Mother Yashoda's lap. Naradji became confused. He thought, who is Brahm? The child or the woman? After thinking about it for a long time, he came to the conclusion that the child must, rather the woman, that is to say Yashoda, must be Brahm, because it is always the individual soul who's begging to go into the lap of the Supreme Soul. But then Thakurji also knew, Naradji also knew that the Supreme Lord, the Supreme Brahm, had manifested himself in the male form. So the child had to be the Supreme Lord of the universe. As you know, first it is the individual soul who sheds tears in order to go into God's lap, in order to attain Him, His grace, His love, His knowledge. But when he attains Yashoda's seat, when he becomes God realized and he becomes a saint, then the situation is reversed. Now it is God who sheds tears to go into the individual's lap. Such is the magical spell of his own most intimate, most personal power, known as bhakti, or divya prem, divine love. So to return to our story, when Mother Yashoda saw Ganaya, crying so bitterly, she untied him from the mortar and picked him up. After that, she bathed him, put fresh clothes on him, and finally put a little black dot on his forehead to ward off the evil eye, and then she sent him out to play. Little Thakurji crawled outside on his hands and knees, and what did he see there? He saw the gopis selling their pots of butter and curd, yelling out, curd for sale, butter for sale, dahi le lo, makhan le lo. But when the gopis saw Lord Krishna, saw little Thakurji, they became so intoxicated with love, with happiness, that they started yelling out. There are many levels of samadhi. So here, they have gone into one state of samadhi. And instead of yelling out, calling out, dahi le lo, makhan le lo, they started yelling out, Sham Sundar for sale, Madhav for sale, Govinda for sale. Vikretu kama khil gop kanya, Murari padar pit chitta vrittihi, Dadhyadikam moha vashadavochat, Govinda damodar madhaveti. Krishna Karnamrit. Then what happened? Then the gopis' love for Lord Krishna reached such a level of intensity that they went into a deeper trance. They were lost in a trance. Consequently, the pots of butter and curd they were carrying on their heads fell down on the ground. The butter and curd got mixed with the earth on the ground, and now there's mud all over. So little Thakurji thought, okay, wonderful. Now's my chance to roll around in the mud. So without wasting a single moment, he proceeded to cover himself from head to toe with mud. In the meantime, Mother Yashoda came outside to check on Kanhaiya. And what did she see? When she saw Thakurji rolling around in the mud, she became so angry. Idani mangamakshali rachitam chanulepanam idani mevate Krishna dhuli dhu saritam vapuh. She became so angry that she said, I just gave you a bath half an hour ago, and look at what you have done to yourself. It seems to me that you must have been a pig in your last life, since you like mud so much. And Thakurji couldn't help but smile at these words of Mother Yashoda, because he had, in fact, become a pig in his previous life. That of the descension of his called Varaha Avatar. So there are many, many such blissful leelas that took place during the descension period of Shri Krishna, depicting the beauty, the sweetness, the nectar of Vatsalya Bhav. Once, seeing Mother Yashoda churning curd in order to make butter, Thakurji saw Maya churning curd. So he also insisted on churning the curd. Seeing Mother Yashoda churning curd, Thakurji insisted that he would also try his hand at churning. Manthara mujjha mathitum. The beautiful verse. Dadhinakshamastvam balosi vatsavirate. Remember. He'll come back. So Thakurji insisted on trying his hand at churning. And Maya said, no, O Kanwa, leave the churner alone. You're too young to help with the churning. So when hearing these words from Mother Yashoda, suddenly Thakurji remembered himself churning the entire Kshir Sagar, the ocean of milk, during one of his main descensions as Kurma avatar. He took the form of a tortoise, a large turtle, you must know. And on his back, he became the base and the foundation to support Mount Mandara on his back so that the ocean of milk could be churned. The great serpent Vasuki was used as a churning rope, and in order to extract the nectar of immortality, Amrit, from Smudra Manthan. So suddenly Thakurji remembered himself churning the entire Kshir Sagar, but he kept quiet. Because otherwise, if Maya found out the reality about him, how would he be able to give her the nectar of Vatsalya Ras, Vatsalya Bhav? So when Maya refused to let him churn the curd, Thakurji started asking for some butter to eat. But how could Maya give him butter before churning curd? So Thakurji waited patiently for her to finish her work. When Mother Yashoda finished with the churning, then she returned to some other household duties. Now Thakurji had been waiting patiently for a suitable opportunity to start his pranks again, to start his mischievous works. So as soon as Yashoda left the room, what did he do? He went straight to the butter pot and started eating butter. While he was stealing butter, he suddenly looked at one of the pillars in the room. Now bear in mind that Nanda Baba was extremely wealthy. The father of Lord Krishna, Nanda Baba, was the chief of the Yadav dynasty. To give you an idea of the wealth that he possessed, it is enough to say that he owned 900,000 cows. And he had a magnificent palace, and the pillars of his house were not made of ordinary stone or even marble. No, they were made of precious gems and stones. So when young Krishna looked at the pillar, at one of the pillars in the room, he saw his own reflection in it. Of course, he was too young to understand that he's looking at his own reflection. He thought it was an outsider, an intruder who had come into the house and who could possibly complain to Mother Yashoda about him, about his stealing the butter. So little Thakurji makes a deal with this stranger who happens to be himself. So Thakurji is now addressing his own reflection. He goes, look, Bhaiya, here's what we will do. I will give you half of the butter, but you have to make a promise not to breathe a word of this to Maya. However, when Thakurji saw the intruder continuing to steal butter, because that's what he was doing himself while he's talking, he's eating the butter, he became annoyed and worried, and decided to complain to Mother Yashoda about him. So he went running to Maya. Maya, there's a stranger who has come into our house and who is uninvited And he's stealing our butter. I told him not to steal my Maya's butter, but he wouldn't listen to me. Instead, he got angry at me for trying to stop him. Mother, don't think I'm greedy for butter. I just want to stop this little boy from stealing your butter. So, between, just think, imagine, between God as the child and the devotee as the parent, there's so much love. There's such great love that both become unconscious of their own identities, of their respective identities. Lord Krishna has completely forgotten who he is, the Supreme Lord of the universe, his supremacy. And Mother Yashoda too is absolutely absorbed in the nectarian bliss of Vatsalya Bhav. So what I've given you is a glimpse of Vatsalya Ras. Mother Yashoda exercises the same right over child Krishna as a mother does over her child in the world. She can never think, never imagine, not even in her dream, that God has descended to earth in the form of her son. And yet, there was a time, once, when she came very close to finding out the truth, who he was. One day, and I'm sure you've heard about this Leela, you've seen pictures of this Leela. One day, Thakurji was playing outside, and Mother Yashoda suspected he had been eating earth. So she decided to check into his mouth. Open your mouth. Thakurji refused to open his mouth. And consequently, Maya Yashoda had to show him the stick again in her hand. See this? Now Thakurji thought it would be wise to open his mouth, and yet he knew that he would be in trouble either way, because if he opened his mouth, Maya would see the dirt in his mouth, and if he refused to open, then Maya's suspicion would be confirmed. So he would be in trouble either way. In a desperate attempt to save himself, what did Thakurji do? He amusingly quickly thought of something. So when Maya looked into his mouth, she nearly fainted. Why? Because she saw innumerable universes, oceans, mountains, living beings, etc. Innumerable universes, cosmic eggs, floating in his mouth. And she started trembling with fear. Thakurji realized his mistake. When he saw Mother Yashoda shaking out of fear, he realized what had happened. He realized his mistake. Actually, his own divine power, Sarup Shakti, had intervened and protected him in this way. And Thakurji knew that. He allowed it to happen. So he realized his mistake, and his purpose is always to give pleasure to Maya. And at the same time, he wanted to distract her this time. So, therefore, Thakurji reassumed his form as a child and said, "Oh Maya, look, I did not eat any earth." And Maya too thought that this was all an illusion. She also recovered from this illusionary vision that she just had, and she thought that maybe perhaps that she had been hallucinating all along. So this is a glimpse of Vatsalya Ras, and there are so many other leelas that depict beautiful pastimes of Shri Radha, Shri Krishna with Mother Yashoda. And higher than Vatsalya Ras, we have Madhurya Ras, but we will talk about that another time, not today. Bole Vrindavan Bihari Lal ki, Srimad Sadguru Sarkar ki. So let us continue singing the rest of this bhajan. Chalat Sakhi Lat Patat Nandalal. लट पटात नंदलाल चलत सखी
लट पटात नंदलाल चलत सखी
चलत सखी
चलत सखी
चलत सखी
चलत सखी
लट पटात नंदलाल चलत सखी
लट पटात नंदलाल चलत सखी
हौले हौले धरणी धरत पग
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 भोले भोले से गोपाल चलत सखी
भोले से गोपाल चलत सखी
चलत सखी
चलत सखी
लट पटात नंदलाल चलत सखी
लट पटात नंदलाल चलत सखी
पुनि पुनि पहिरावती पीताम्बर
पुनि पुनि पहिरावती पीताम्बर
चलत चलत छुटी जात पीताम्बर
चलत चलत छुटी जात पीत पट
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 चलत चलत
सखी
हसती सवै ब्रजबाल चलत सखी
हसती हसती सवै ब्रजबाल चलत सखी
हसती सवै ब्रजबाल चलत सखी
पुनि पुनि पहिरावती पीताम्बर
पुनि पुनि पहिरावती पीताम्बर
पुनि पुनि पहिरावती पीताम्बर
पुनि पुनि पहिरावती पीताम्बर
यशुमती यशुमती भूत निहाल चलत सखी
यशोमती भूत निहाल चलत सखी
चलत सखी
चलत सखी
चलत सखी
चलत सखी
लट पटात नंदलाल चलत सखी
लट पटात नंदलाल चलत सखी
जहाँ देखत माटी चुप के ते
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 डारत डारत मुख तत्काल चलत सखी
डारत मुख तत्काल चलत सखी
डारत डारत मुख तत्काल चलत सखी
डारत मुख तत्काल चलत सखी
चलत सखी
चलत सखी
चलत सखी
चलत सखी
लट पटात नंदलाल चलत सखी
लट पटात नंदलाल चलत सखी
तरजनी ते कृपालु डर पावत
तरजनी ते कृपालु डर पा
तरजनी ते कृपालु डर पावत
तरजनी ते कृपालु डर पावत
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 तरजनी ते 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 कृपालु डर पावत
मुख माटी लखी ग्वाल चलत सखी
मुख माटी लखी ग्वाल चलत सखी
ओ मुख माटी लखी ग्वाल चलत सखी
मुख माटी लखी ग्वाल चलत सखी
चलत सखी
चलत सखी
चलत सखी
चलत सखी
मुख माटी लखी ग्वाल चलत सखी
मुख माटी लखी ग्वाल चलत सखी
लटपटात नंदलाल चलत सखी
लटपटात नंदलाल चलत
ओ
सखी
भोले भोले से गोपाल चलत सखी
भोले से गोपाल चलत सखी
हंसती हंसती सब ब्रजबाल चलत सखी
हंसती सब ब्रजबाल चलत सखी
यशुमती यशुमती भूत निहाल चलत सखी
यशोमती होती निहाल चलत सखी
चलत सखी
चलत सखी
चलत सखी
चलत सखी
लटपटात नंदलाल चलत सखी
लटपटात नंदलाल चलत सखी
ओ राधे 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 गोविंद गोविंद राधे राधे
राधे राधे गोविंद राधे राधे
राधे राधे गोविंद 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 गोविंद राधे राधे
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 राधे राधे गोविंद
राधे राधे गोविंद
राधे राधे गोविंद
राधे 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 राधे
राधे राधे गोविंद गोविंद राधे 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 गोविंद
गोविंद राधे राधे
राधे राधे गोविंद
गोविंद राधे राधे
राधे राधे गोविंद
गोविंद राधे राधे
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 राधे राधे गोविंद गोविंद राधे राधे
राधे राधे गोविंद गोविंद राधे राधे
राधे राधे राधे राधे गोविंद गोविंद राधे राधे
राधे राधे गोविंद गोविंद राधे राधे
ओ राधे 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 गोविंद गोविंद राधे राधे
राधे राधे गोविंद गोविंद राधे राधे
ओ राधे राधे गोविंद गोविंद राधे राधे
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 राधे राधे राधे राधे गोविंद गोविंद राधे राधे
राधे राधे गोविंद गोविंद राधे राधे।
बोलिए अलबेली सरकार की
जय।
लाडली लाल की
जय।
श्रीमद सद्गुरु सरकार की
जय।
श्री कृपालु धाम की
जय।
युगल कुंज की
जय।
जय जय श्री राधे जय जय श्री राधे जय